Welcome back to riskfeestaxes.com retirement radio with Higher Ground Financial Group. I'm Imran Razman, founder of the Higher Ground Financial Group. I'm working with my son Daniel, who is the CEO or the COO and the tax attorney.
Yes.
So we really do this to get more information in your hands. We're not trying to sell you a product. We're not trying to convince you to buy this or buy that, because most things out there, people got to make a living, so they usually charge a fee. Right?
Yeah. Fees are not bad. They are one of the three biggest killers we talk about all the time, right?
Yeah.
Risk, fees, and taxes. That's their website, by the way, riskfeestaxes.com.
Yeah. No matter what I do, whether I buy a house, there's a realtor fee. Whether I get my car fixed, there's a mechanic's fee. I mean, everything has to be charged. Nobody works for free. The society will break down if they can get things for free. Now, in New York State, they want to give everything away or New York City at least, want to give you everything for free, but somebody's going to pay for it.
Somebody's going to pay for it. So just having no fee all the time isn't necessarily better off, right? So some things that you pay for are worth it. But what's important is you should know how much you are paying so you can decide for yourself, is it really worth it?
So let's give you an example. Let's say I have an account. I got $2 million in there. And just to be clear, most of our clients have $2 million or more in their retirement accounts. And that's where taxes really become an issue. And so do fees. Now, most of these people don't think about fees as a tax. But when you're paying a fee and you're not getting anything for it, even if you are getting something for it, is it really worth the tax you're paying? The fee is that tax.
I mean, the taxes you're supposedly getting something for also, right? The police officers and the military and the roads and bridges and schools. And
so let's break down the fees. All right. So I got $2 million and my advisor says that he's only charging me 1%. And if I get to 5 million, he'll charge me 0.75%.
So he's probably not lying to you. He probably is charging 1%. But let's break that down.
But is that the end of the fees?
No. But before we even get to what else there could be, how bad is the 1% fee? Because that $2 million, 1% is $20,000 every year that you're paying. So now you have to think, if that's the only fee I'm paying at all, is $20,000 worth the advice and the help I'm getting?
So I'm paying him almost $2,000 a month to invest for me. So that means that he should be doing at least $2,000 of work per month. And so if he is spending 1 hour a month on my case, that means I'm paying him $2,000 an hour.
That is one way to think about it, yeah. And I mean, a lot of people work with an advisor because they hope to do as well or better than the stock market.
Okay.
But that's the benchmark, right? Because you can just put money in the market with no fee. So if you're not doing better than that, then why are you paying an advisor?
I mean, there was a study done that 90% of financial advisors underperform the S&P 500.
That's crazy.
90%. And the S&P 500 ETF, which has less than 0.1% fee, is outperforming it.
So let's talk about the expense ratio, because you brought that up. So there is a fee just to have the mutual fund or the ETF that you're holding, right? So if your advisor is charging 1% per year, but he has you in mutual funds or any type of
let's just stick with the ETF. So it's 0.1% to 1%.
Yeah. So, but that's still added on.
Are you paying for that, or do I pay for it?
You pay for it.
Why not him? Because he's already charging me 1%.
It's not how it works, unfortunately. I didn't make the rules. I just explained them. So this 10 basis points or 0.1% that you're paying is on top of the advisor fee. So instead of paying $20,000 a year, now you're paying $22,000 a year in fees. Wow. And that's if all of those funds are less than 10 basis points. But a lot of funds are more expensive than that.
Yeah, I've seen funds with 0.67%, 1.2%, 1.5%. I mean, some of these funds are pretty expensive.
And that's on top of the fee that you're paying the advisor for the managed account.
So well, let me break this down. A managed account, that means somebody is managing it. It's not my advisor?
Well, it's supposed to be your advisor, but he might be using third-party managers for the mutual funds, and then they have to get paid. So that's where the fees come from.
If he's hiring somebody else to manage the funds that I've hired him for, why isn't he paying the fees?
Again, I don't make the rules. I just explain them.
So if I've hired my advisor and I'm paying him a 1% fee, and then he hires another money manager, he's going to make me pay his fee also?
If it's a mutual fund that has that expense ratio, it's going to be expensive.
So he's probably thinking, well, I'm paying him the 1% fee to find this better financial manager. Why can't I just go directly to that financial manager?
Again, you could. Now, should you is a different question, right? Again, you're breaking down the fees. You should be aware of how much you're paying, and then you know how bad it is. But that doesn't mean you should just fire your advisor. Maybe you're getting something by it, right? But let's break it down even further. There's more types of fees. So some people, there was a big push about 20 or 30 years ago to switch to assets under management, managed money accounts, wrap fees. It was supposed to be all the fees in one as wrap fees instead of charging transactions, because it used to be you pay transaction when you buy or sell shares in something, you pay a transaction fee. So they're like, we're not going to charge you transaction fees. That's why we're charging you the wrap fee to manage the account. You have to have that fee, but you still have the expense ratios if you have mutual funds. But the push was to get rid of commissions. They said commissions are bad because in the investment world, commissions actually do come out of your pocket, unlike the annuity space or the insurance space. So if you put your $2 million in a mutual fund with an upfront commission, then you would be paying maybe 5% the first year. So you wouldn't have $2 million. You'd have $1.9 million in the account.
Wow.
And then they would be charging you fees every year for the expense ratio, but they would not be charging you the annual wrap fee. So if you get a mutual fund with a very low expense ratio, maybe 20 basis points, 30 basis points, and you pay that 5% load at the front, then the thinking was if all you're going to do is buy and hold and you're never going to sell, then that will charge you less fees over time than just charging you 1% every year.
Because the load is different based on what kind of shares you're buying. A shares, B shares, C shares. And so sometimes paying that load up front gives you a better share, an A share, which has better benefits for you, right?
It could be. And if it could also result in lower fees, right? Because you do that. If you have a load, then you don't have an annual management fee. So those don't work in the management accounts. So that is not always bad, but we're taught, oh, it's bad. To pay a commission is always bad. Well, why is it bad? I mean, it's still fees. So count up all the fees you're paying. Maybe it's less. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Because some of those front-loaded funds also have like 1.5% every year in fees on top of that, which is just as bad. So again, it depends on the mutual fund and which it is. And these days, there's been a big push to just go index funds, which are very low fee, or just buy individual stocks. And all that's great, but then you're still paying the management costs. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing trading in the account, especially if there's no trading costs and there's a lot of incentive, you want to trade more and buy and sell more. But then you're timing the market, and that's why a lot of them are underperforming the stock market.
Right.
But then you have this thing called cash drag. So what's cash drag?
Well, if I have a bunch of cash sitting in my account because I'm waiting for the right time to buy some stock.
So then you're still paying the 1% fee on that cash too.
Wow. So even though the cash is not doing anything for me, I'm still paying a fee on it.
Yeah, because the fee is based on your entire $2 million. It doesn't matter how much is actually invested at any given time.
Wow.
But if
so is that what's called a wrap account?
Yeah, a wrap account. It's one fee for the whole account, and you pay that fee no matter if it's in stocks or bonds or mutual funds or cash. And we talked to a client the other day. She had an account that she told the advisor she wanted to be conservative, so he had her in a whole bunch of bonds, and he actually did some work. It wasn't a bond fund. He bought a whole bunch of individual bonds. Okay, that's great, and they were paying around 5%, which was great. But he was charging 1% fee. So she was really only getting paid 4%, not 5%. Right? And at 1%, if you made 10 or 15 in the market, doesn't sound so bad. 1% if all you made was 5, now it sounds a lot worse.
That's a 20% fee.
It's a 20% fee. 20% of your return was the fee. And so it's really important to break down all the types of fees you might be getting. But that's not all. There's more types of fees. There are other types
Even
of fees.
more fees. Wow.
Yeah. If you have an insurance product, an annuity, if it's a variable annuity, you have a variable account management fee that M&E charges. Whether it's a variable or fixed annuity, you might have a rider that you pay a fee for. It could be 1% or 1.5% every year for the rider. And there could be expense ratios if it's a variable annuity. So those get counted as well. So all of those fees, they really add up. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have any fees. Okay. It's just like saying, okay, the best type of car is the one that gets me from point A to point B the most efficient possible. Okay, so we're going to make a law that everybody should drive a Prius. It's like, well, no, what if you're a plumber and you need to take your tools with you? You're not going to fit them in the Prius. You need a work truck. But the work truck gets bad gas mileage. It's more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Well, yes, but for you, it might actually be worth it. So for the right person, paying a fee could be worth it.
Right.
But you want to make sure that you know how much you're paying and you know what you're getting. And then could you get something similar for same or less fee? And in many cases, you can, right? It's not the same as it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of new technology, a lot of innovation, a lot of ways to minimize those fees. And, one of the things that really gets me is if I'm going to get my car fixed, right, there's a fee, whatever they charge me. I write a check for that or put it on a credit card or pay cash. Do I do that in the investment account?
No.
I mean, I don't write a check. I don't put it on a credit card.
It just comes out of your account, so you don't notice it.
That's why I'm not seeing all these fees.
Exactly.
Isn't that kind of sneaky?
It is. It's very sneaky.
So it's just a line item on my statement, which is buried in there out of 25 pages I get each quarter. So,
You know what else is buried in your statement, by the way? I know we're running out of time in this segment. What does the fine print say at the bottom? It says, this is not tax advice. This is not legal advice.
how can they be an investment advisor and not give any tax advice?
Well, it's just not their license. They're not licensed for that. And they don't focus on that. So they all want that
But
as
these
standard.
investments are subject to taxes.
They are. And that's why they say you should talk to a tax attorney. So my disclosures are different. In our emails that we send to the clients, it's no, this is tax advice. This is legal advice. If you sign a retainer with us, you're a client of our firm. We will have client-facing tax attorneys that will actually give you fiduciary advice about your tax situation. So then you think, okay, I'm paying a fee, but I'm actually getting something I can't get from anywhere else. I'm actually getting tax advice and legal advice.
Yeah, the other option is stick with your investment advisor and then also hire a tax attorney and also hire an estate attorney and also hire an accountant and also hire and hire and hire and hire.
And get all these other people that don't talk to each other that are trying to work on your plan.
Yeah, because they all have different ideas. They have different situations, and they may all be fiduciaries. So what does a fiduciary really mean? A fiduciary means that somebody has to take your best interest at heart. So my idea of a fiduciary is that you should do this. His idea of fiduciary is you should do something else. And are we both fiduciaries?
Yeah. I mean, because you talk to 10 different people and you ask them to give an honest answer to the question, what is the best course of action here? You're going to get a whole bunch of different answers, but they're not lying. They actually believe these are the best for you.
It's sort of like, hey, Daniel, what's your favorite fruit?
Well, my favorite fruit is grapes.
Well, my favorite fruit is mango. So is Daniel right or am I right? Which is a better fruit? We're both fiduciaries, but based on our own preferences. Now, if we're trying to tell you, you say, be a fiduciary. Tell me what the best fruit is. Well, Daniel's going to tell you grape is the best fruit. I'm going to tell you mango is the best fruit. Are either of us wrong? No. So just saying a fiduciary does not mean that you're going to get the best answer. You're going to get the answer that it feels best from the person that's giving you that advice. And hopefully they're not giving that advice just to make more money, because that's not a fiduciary. The fiduciary is really taking your input. So what kind of taste do you like? Do you like crunchy? Do you like sweet? Do you like sour? And finding those things out, say, okay, based on the information you've given me, this may be the best fruit.
But what kind of fee they're charging or how much they're charging is not what makes somebody a fiduciary or not. That's the main takeaway. You should definitely have that in your head. The fact that I make money or somebody else makes money or how much we make, that is an independent question of, was the advice good? Was the course of action the right one to take?
So fee-only fiduciary does not mean that there's a better fiduciary. It just means charging a fee whether it gives you good advice or bad advice.
Exactly. So go to our website, riskfeestaxes.com. Again, there are 3 killers. Fees are just one of them. Riskfeestaxes.com. And we'll be happy to talk to you and break down how much fees you're...
Without a fee. This is a free meeting.
Yes, a free meeting with no fee.